What British did to India? India was a British colony for almost 200 years, from the 18th century until India gained independence in 1947. During this time, the British government and British East India Company had significant influence over the political, economic, and social systems of India, which had a profound impact on the country and its people. Here are some of the major actions taken by the British in India. Economic exploitation. The British government and East India Company implemented policies that extracted resources and wealth from India to benefit the British Empire. This included levying heavy taxes on Indian goods, implementing a land revenue system that benefited British landowners, and monopolizing Indian trade. Political control. The British established a system of governance that favored British interests over Indian interests, which included undermining traditional Indian power structures and introducing new laws and regulations that benefited the British. Social and cultural changes. The British introduced Western education, values, and culture to India, which had both positive and negative effects. This included the establishment of English language schools and universities, the introduction of modern science and medicine, and the spread of Christianity. However, it also led to the erasure of many traditional Indian cultural practices and the suppression of Indian languages and religions. Famines. The British colonial government's policies contributed to several devastating famines in India, particularly in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The government's response to these famines was criticized for being inadequate and slow, leading to millions of deaths. Indian independence. Despite initially opposing Indian demands for self-rule, the British eventually granted India independence in 1947, but not without significant violence and social upheaval. The partition of India into two separate countries, India and Pakistan, led to the displacement and deaths of millions of people. It's important to note that the impact of British colonialism on India was complex and multifaceted, and opinions on the legacy of British rule in India vary. Some argue that British colonialism brought modernization, development, and progress to India, while others argue that it resulted in the exploitation and impoverishment of the Indian people.